that takes place at a train station. So our first stop on our tour is here at Old Main, the train station of this story. Hugo lives in this train station, and amidst the hustle and bustle of the trains coming and going, he has plenty of places to explore and to hide within the walls of this famous railway station. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Why did Hugo live in a train station?
Well, Hugo actually lived in this train station because at a young age he was orphaned, and his uncle took care of keeping the clocks in order at this station. So Hugo decided to help his uncle out because he didn't really have another place to live. And so it is here where he spent most of his days, and he continued to keep the clocks running as his uncle actually passed away. So there are some mysteries within there.
Okay, so this is where Hugo lived. We are now in the train station, and as you can see, these aren't the best of conditions. Hugo didn't really have any money, and he also didn't really have, as I said earlier, a family to live with because of what happened to his father and what happened to his uncle. So he was kind of just forced to live down here. He kind of made the best of it. As you can see, he no longer lives here, so everything's been taken out because once he was discovered by the Inspector General, he was asked to leave. However, this is where he lived.
Where Hugo stole from in order to get the parts to repair his mechanical man, and he ended up getting caught by George's, and he ended up becoming an apprentice in order to repay the damages for what he stole. Yeah.
Who's George's?
George's is actually who made the mechanical man, and it ends up that he was a famous movie maker.
Side of the late Paris Museum where Hugo's father actually worked. He found the automaton in the attic of his workplace. Hugo and his father continued to work on the automaton until unfortunately his father passed away in the fire that took away the museum. But luckily later on, Hugo was able to get the automaton and bring it to the train station.
Logs that Hugo had to work on and bend to keep up the act that his uncle was still alive so he could live in an apartment and not be in the orphanage. His hard work and determination fixing the clocks around the train station translated into his work fixing the mechanical man.
That Hugo went to, in this library he found the book about George's. In this book he was able to discover that George's was a famous magician and movie maker, and that he was the maker of the mechanical man. After he found the book about George's, he showed it to his good friend Isabel, who was George's goddaughter, and they then showed it to George's wife, and they were able to discover that yes, he really was a famous magician and the maker of the mechanical man.
Where he, his wife, and his goddaughter Isabel live. After Hugo fixes the mechanical man and shows it to Georges, Georges ends up adopting him and eventually